Here it is.
we we're gonna introduce a guy that, like we said, inspired us to be in the industry in the first place, and now we're lucky enough to be able to call him a friend. He's the one and only Dr. Bob Armstrong.
Yes.
So let's get him over to you. Hello,
Hi
Dr. Bob.
guys.
Hello, hello,
How you all
hello.
doing?
We are doing fantastic.
Excellent. And thank you very much for your hard work. You must be exhausted.
We're not exhausted. We decided that we are balloon vampires. We're just living on we're living on the energy provided by everybody that's watching and the comments. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And thanks for that comment earlier on, because at the end of the day, when I started in the early 90s, there was nothing, very little. And Pioneer was striving to put things out then.
I was just doing the math.
And,
So you must have been two then, Bob, yes? You must have been two. Yeah? Sure.
I was a little.
Right, Bob, we won't hold you up anymore. We want to see what you've got for us. So we're going to hand it over to you. We'll be sat here watching. Enjoy. And I'm sure you guys are going to give him the love in the comments. Because every time we watch what he does, he always inspires us. So over to you, Dr. Bob.
Over to you, Dr. Bob.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Hello, everybody. Well, today we're going to do some creatures. You have to bear with me because I'm working in my son's dining room and it's a bit awkward. So I'm trying to do what I can here. I've made quite a few bits and pieces to show you. Here's a little frog that I made earlier on. I wanted to tell you about creating scenes, displays, things that you give to people as well. And a lot of people don't think about it because we need to use the principle and elements of design, size, proportion, harmony, scale, all them things have to be involved into the designs themselves. Now, I've got a few cute designs I wanted to show you, but before I do that, I'd like to show you a couple of things here. I've got two Qualtex, sorry, moving it back and forth because I'm trying to get into the camera. Got a few bits and pieces here from Pioneer. We've got the tree and the garden. And I'm going to show you a couple of bits and pieces that will go with these and some extra bits. I'm going to cut it down a bit to help the boys out. And hopefully I'll do some stuff with them, maybe again on Q Corner. Right. We have a large display. A lot of you do this sort of thing. And using this, we can look at this design. I think Lucy was talking about this earlier, is taking components off the design itself and using them as best you can. And we've got lots of ideas on this design. And I've already started by placing some toadstools, some mushrooms on there. And we're going to build this up as I go along and making the bits and pieces. And you can see what the finished design can be like. Also, I've got this one here, and you can, sorry, I'll turn my phone off a minute. There we go.
Power off your iPhone. Press and hold the power button.
Sorry. I've turned my phone off. There we are. So I've got this design as well. I'm going to show you some bits to go on that in a moment. I'm going to try and talk a few bits and pieces as I go along. Now, the bits I'm going to do now, they can be great for twisters, they can be great for decorators by adding stuff into arches and bits and pieces like that, children's parties, deliveries, you name it, these can be used. Because I do a lot of different things. When I started out as a twister and then moved on further. I was lucky, my daughter bought me a bag of balloons and it changed my life. And it gave me so much excitement, and I still got the same excitement and passion with it now. So I want to share that with you. So this is for everybody. These things can be translated into larger and giant things. I've done quite a few large balloon displays in the early, I think it was 2011, with the help of John Bowler, Sue Bowler, and Jodie White and a couple of other people, I launched a Green Bloom campaign, and we done the first British Bloom Festival, and it was to educate people what blooms were all about. And what the boys were saying earlier on, it is great because sharing is caring, I should say, and we need to help each other in this industry to move on. Anyway, positivity. Right, first of all, with this design here, we've got a tractor, some farm animals, a chicken. Now, I thought I'd show you a quick little duck, little cute little duck that we can add to this. And basically, this one here is just 4 pumps. Now, I'll come in close for you. Now, all I'm going to do is a soft bubble here. Oops, sorry. A soft bubble here. And another soft bubble. So we've got 2 bubbles. The next one I'm going to do about a third bigger. Okay. And I'm going to loop that into that one here. I'm making them nice and soft. Tie that one in there. And then I'm going to come, I can put a little bubble on the back there. That little pinch twist there is to help support the tail. I'm going to make a little soft loop bubble here. As I squeeze it and forcing the air back, and just twist it into the design there. Round twice. And then line up the 2 pieces at the back here. Squeeze it gently. You get yourself another piece. So you have 2 small at the top, 2 larger ones at the bottom, and a nice little pinch twist and a little puffy tail. Using the knot to tie it all together, I'm going to make a little loop here for the head. Now you can make a big head or a small head, and just a soft loop. Twist it round like so. And then I'm going to squeeze it with my thumb and finger to make a small pinch twist like this. And then the same on the other side. Sorry for the squeaking, guys and gals. There we are. Our little duck. And then we're going to make the eyes, taking a pre-inflated 260 white. Now I'm going to make this nice and soft so it can squash through the head. And I always give several twists on here to give us a bit of play to stop it from getting too tight. And it helps when you're twisting 2 bubbles together. We'll tie that, and we'll save that for later. I'm just going to roll them together like so, and then take the head and just gently poke it through like so. And we're almost there. Now, what I've done, I didn't have any 160, so I pre-stretched a 260, so we make it into a 160. I'll show you that in a minute. And all I'm going to do is just make a little bubble, and another little bubble, 2 little loop twists, tie them together, take that off, save that for later. Now, you can either twist it in or you can use the little tail here. So what I'm going to do, push my finger in and twist it around. And that creates a lovely little piece there. Now the feet, you need to take a 160 make a loop twist, pull that through, a small pinch twist on the bottom, and then a small bubble, and reverse everything you've done this side, reverse it back. There we are. If it goes wrong, just undo it and twist again. Another pinch twist at the back. And what I've done is put a loop in the center there. You can see it, to join both sides together. And then I can use the neck to tie it in, pull off, and it's done. And there we have our two little feet, which can nicely tuck in under there. I always like to cut the, oh dear, I've had an accident, so just add another piece in. Everything can be repaired. So we're going to repeat that again. Oh. Sorry guys. This gives me an opportunity to show you what I've done is put the 260 under my foot, and I've stretched it, and I'm just going to pump away, keeping the pressure steady, and I've got myself a nice 160. So I'll do that one quickly. Probably the nerves setting in like that. There we go. And I'll use the scissors just in case I pop it again. There we go, there's our little feet. Now to attach it in there, you can either use some sticky dots, or you can just use a scrap piece of balloon, wrap it around the neck, and loop around and cut off. There we go. Now we've got our cute little duck. We can add some eyes, either use a marquee or some stickies. I always like to put a bit of detail into the character. There we go. I could leave it like that, but I always like to add that extra bit of detail into it. And what I do to do the eyes is I scribble it round in a circle all around there. There we go. And it looks more like an iris. There we go. And then we can go into the centre, clean that off. And then put some white on there. There you go. And on this one, I've added a bit more detail by putting a puff. I'll show you that one. That one's gone down a little bit. Basically, it's using a 260, and what we do is put a bit of air in there. You do it like this. You can give it a blow in there and then pull it down. But a lot of people tend to do this now. Just put a bit of air in there. and then push it down, whatever size you want, bring it round, and then tie it off to the size that you want, and then you can loop it around the eye. I'll cut this piece off. And then all you do, what I like to do is tuck it around this so it doesn't slip off easily. If it's going in a display, you don't want any child to take onto that. There you go. And that's the little chickie's eye. So if I bring my display up, we've got a couple of little ducks here now, and this is adding more value to the design every time you put something into it. Now I've had people after caterpillars, all sorts of characters and creatures for their design, but this makes it nice and cute, and you've got the awe factor as well. So all I would do to attach them in is get a scrap of glue and wrap it around the leg gently like so. I'm doing this a little bit quicker so that we can get a few bits and pieces in. Then just gently, don't pull too hard, wrap in, come to the other side here, and do exactly the same thing. Obviously, we've got to think of the size and scale of the characters. If we go on oversizing the actual design itself. So this is cute for an Easter birthday, or you could do it for Easter itself. They're quick and easy to make, and they add lots of value to your design. If we wanted to, we could add another one to the top here. You can see it, and there you've got a nice piece. If somebody wanted the chicken, we could add a chicken to it, but we don't want a big chicken like this, obviously. We can bring in a small cuter chicken, like so, and add that to the design. He could be sat up there roosting. So that's one design. I'll show you this one a little bit later. Now, using this same principle, we can create a lovely, cute little bird as well. And I'm going to stick this on the big design later on. So I'll run through that one quickly. Again, it's easily done. A little twist here. 2 small bubbles. Now obviously you can scale this up or scale it down using 1/60s. And depending on how deep you want the wing, you go forward or back obviously. So it's average about 1/4 of the size of the balloon. And come back to the front. This is another way of doing it. I can roll that one through there like so. So that's nice and tight, and then just bring this other piece back up here. Okay. There we go. And then I can reverse it the other way and do 2 small pinch twists like this. Soft bubble for the head. You roll it round and then give it a bit of a squeeze, force the air out, and that makes it much better, because if it does go out into the warmth, it's going to pop. Now when I'm making these, sorry, squeaking as I'm doing it, I tend to use nitrogen because, especially with the 160s, but if I'm doing displays, I want them to last a lot longer. And unfortunately, I didn't have it here because I'm not at the shop. So if you're doing it entertaining, these are perfectly fine for that sort of thing. Then you just readjust it so you've got 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then you've got that piece there. And then we've got, now when you're doing the eyes, you can have big eyes, small eyes, it depends on what sort of canopy you want. But don't have these too tight, you want them soft. So as you're doing it, squeeze and twist around. There you go. I hope you can hear me all right. And then I'm going to twist it together again, popping back in there. Thank you. And then, where's the other bit gone? You can make a little beak, okay, and then pop that in. Now this one is going to be a cute one because it's nice puffy beak, but it's going to be a young bird. I should have made the eyes a little bit fatter for that. Now, sorry? You guys, you keep... Oh, I love you guys. Here we are. Now then, take the 260, very easily done. This time you can bring it round the back here. I haven't tied it at all. What I'm going to do is twist that around, bring it to the front, in between these two here, give it a nice squeeze, open it out slightly and force it. So this is really soft. And twist it and pull it underneath, wrap it all the way around, turn it back the other way, do exactly the same thing again, squeeze it hard, see if it fits in, and twist. Pull it over. I'm going to use this piece of glue to tie it in. Or if I wanted to, rather than using that little bit, I could have made a little inch twist there with the blue or the white. I'm going to do it with the white, so I want to add a bit more detail. And then another little pinch twist there. These are quite soft pinch twists. There we go. Now then. So the next bit then is just gently push him in. And what you do is you squeeze either end. Same thing here, squeeze either end, and it gives you the shape. Gives you that little nice shape of the wing. And then for the tail, you can have one piece on there, or you can add several pieces. There we are. And what I'm making is just 2 little loops. Popped it too fast again. Just tie them 2 together. And then just tuck them in to the back, roll them round. And now what you can do is give them a little squeeze from the front here to the back to give them a bit of a point and curve them, and you've got a bit more detail then. And it's adding more and more character all the time. The feet are exactly the same as we did earlier. I'll do this one without popping it this time. You could change it so that instead of doing loops, you could add a bit more detail by doing just 2 small bubbles. Bring together like so. Then a small pinch twist at the back. It's your preference at the end of the day. There we go. Another pinch twist at the back. And then we finish off with a small bubble. This time I ain't going to pull it off, I'm just going to pop it here. There we go. And then we can do exactly the same with this one, using a scrap bit of blue. Pull it in. Find the position that you want. Now, if you slide this back and forth, now you can have it stood up quickly. There we go. You can stand up. And again, we can add the eyes, and there we have our little birdies. I'm going to say 2 blackbirds singing. One named Peter, one named Paul. So I've changed the colour of the legs, look, so it's slightly different. So there we are, our Tweety birds. Now, if you use chrome, you can have a great effect. You know, you can do just one little bubble on the back, like we did with our little duck, a slightly bigger duck there. And I've used the chrome. I've actually pre-stretched these to make them into 160s. So it's got a bit more detail and they're small for smaller designs. Done the same on that one as we've just done. But this one here, I've just given it a long tail and just gently squeezed it to curl it up. I put them in there, just push it down. You can tuck it in there if you want to as well. But to make this type of beak, all you have to do, I think I was shown this by, I think it's Ed Chi. And basically, it's a basic soft bubble, and you pinch it like this, tie it off, and then you just do a half, you squeeze there, and give it a half twist like so. And it just creates a nice little beak effect. Obviously, if you go further back, it gives you a bigger beak. And it looks quite cool. So there we are. That's our little birdies. I'll let them fly away a minute. Woo! Oh yes, now on that design we had a snail, if you remember. I'd love to show you how to make that. These are all relatively easy designs, so most people can do it, and you can add adornments to them later on. I'll show you this one over here. It's a little snail. Oh, this one's head's gone down a little bit, but I'll be showing you how to make it. I've used the same blush and the mocha brown, and I had to change the head slightly with one bubble on the top. But I'm going to show you a slightly different version of it, which is this one here. I'm just going to show you the head design on this one, and I'll explain all about this bit in a moment or two. Now I'm going to use a 350 Q. Need this quite soft. And this is a series of loop twists, basically. So I'm going to squeeze these together on both sides, as you can see. Twist and pull away as you twist. It helps. Because if you keep twisting that way, it's going to force the air back in there and make it tighter. Use that to wrap around. And then the next bit I'm going to hold against my belly and push it. I'll do it this way so you can all see what I'm doing. Because I'm forcing that around so I can see the signs here where to actually do the twist. So I'll push it round, make sure it's nice and soft. There we go, like that. I'll let go of that now and lift it in, like so. I've got this nice little bit left. So I'm going to make 2 small bubbles and then twist them in there like so. That's going to be good. I didn't do a big and eight. Yeah, so we've got 2 bubbles. And these here, I'm going to turn these into a pinch twist. We'll take one way and the other way. So we've got a 2 pinch twist there. Pop that in, like so. And then that's our shell. Quick and easy. There is another way where you can twist it round and use these for the balloons, but I want to keep the design simple today. Then we're going to go for our head, which is a mocha. And I'm going to 4 pumps on this one. Okay. Now, depends on what size head you want. You don't want it too big, but you could create different characters, which I'll show you in a moment. Here I'm going to make a nice little loop and make it really soft. See how I'm squeezing that balloon together there? And then I'm pulling away. I've got a nice little loop. Fold it over, squeeze again and get the same size there. Okay? Twist that in. These are both nice and soft. Now the next one, I want it so it's about just over halfway. 2 more bubbles. Make sure these are soft as well. Give it a squeeze. I'm squeezing it down. Twist. Several twists in between make a huge difference. Again, just around. Okay. Move that one around there. Now, I'm going to make his snout. So we've got these 2 bubbles here, and I'm just going to come here, squeeze this one gently, make a nice snout for him, twist it, bring it round to the front, and then make the bottom half of his mouth by just making it slightly smaller than the other one, and squeeze. Look at the video later and follow it step by step. I'm doing it this way. Now then, we've got a little piece left at the back there, and what I'm going to do with that is just make a little bubble. It only needs to be a little bit smaller than the lower jaw. You just wrap it round like so, and there we go. Then we're going to put these 2 together. So they go like that. So what we have now, by placing them all in position, we've got the smallest bubble at the back, the tiny one at the bottom, 2 cheeks either side, the upper jaw, lower jaw, and this is going to be the head itself. Now I'm going to make the eyes, which is very easy, but we've done before. Do them very quickly. check out the time's doing, because I'm going to try and save some time for the boys. Now what we got here is two nice little bubbles. Now I can bring them down like so. Hold my thumb on the end there. Some people twist them in. I'm trying to make this a little bit easier for people to follow through, and so they have less chance of the balloon popping. So there's our lovely head now. And this can be used for all sorts of different characters. Okay. Then all I'm going to do then is gently open up the eye, push that through, and push the other one through like so. And then we're done. Okay. I've done that one with two small eyes. Now to change it so we can put more character on there, I'm going to make these eyes slightly bigger. So I wanted to show you the difference between the two. Because now all I got to do is put a pen on there, and I've got a nice simple head, and I can put the antennae on there. But if I make them bigger and put more stretch on them, there we go. And you've got more elasticity there now, you can see that, yeah? And now I'll push these ones out. And there we have our little eyes. Now this time I'm going to take a Blush 160. Excuse me. I always like to add more detail into my designs because I think it's all about the detail. I thought the boys were going to come in with something then. I'm just going to gently measure the size that I want it. And make sure this is nice and soft. I'm going to create two small loops. Twist it around. And this doesn't have to be tight here, because you want a bit of flexibility in it. And there, that's done. So you've got a bit of flexibility in it, if you can see there. Well, this is so strange working off a video iPad. You're seeing yourself delayed all the time. It's such fun. And then we're going to get the other one exactly the same, well, not exactly the same size, but as close as you can to that size. Is everyone happy with it so far, Keith, Dom? No? Okay. They're probably having 5 minutes snap there, bless him. Okay, so there. Now what I'm going to do now is turn the balloon around, look at the nose, slide this over the nose, like so, and then I'm going to take this side and push it that way, to the centre of the mouth, here. And then just pull the other piece back, and then tuck it into that little gap there. See? And do the same on the other one, in. And you can create a devious character, you can do all sorts with that. There we go. The antenna, I'm going to make using some 260Q and just basically puff it up a little bit. There we go. leave a bit on the end. Now to get it to the other side, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stretch. Split this in half. And hopefully squeeze it and go to the other side. There we go. And then get them both the same size by pushing and stopping it with your thumb and finger. There we go. Now then, keep a twist in the center at the top there, otherwise it'll all come undone. And there we go. Now you can twist that in, or you can use again a little bit of scrap balloon. Have I got any here? I did have loads just now. I'll take this piece here and tie it into there like so. There we are. This is really strange not hearing anyone's reactions. Now, that can go in like so. I hope it's all going okay for my screen keeps freezing up. There we are. And then just tuck that into the front. And we've got a lovely little happy face there. Devious he is. Alright. And then to add a nose in there, we can take a 350, a 160, whatever you want. You can make it as creative as you want. I'm just going to cut this bit off here. And it's just a little bubble. Depending on the size of the bubble, creates a different character. There we go. So now, all I'm going to do is tuck that in, stretch it and tuck it in behind the lower part of the mouth. And just pop it through there. Put it forward. And we've got it. Our little. Here he is. Now I'll show you some of the ones that I've made earlier. And I've added the eyes and features to them. This one here, I've just used the green and I've done a tulip twist on the eyes there. And I followed through with the eye with green because it adds with the character. You could put yellow in there. And then, oh, I haven't done the other part of the body, sorry. Naughty boy, Dr. Bob. Here we go. I'll show you how to do that. It's relatively easy. Just pump up your 350Q. And then all I'm going to do is leave a little bit on the end there, like so. This is how we attach the head, sorry. Where's he gone? There he is. To attach the head on, so there's the front, turn around the back. Now, we've already got an attachment there. We've got that little bubble there, so we can just make a little bit of a space there. You can use that to tie it, or we can get rid of that. And then we can pull this piece here, and then push that into there. So what I'm going to do is that. Okay. And there we have the head on. And what we want to do, as we're doing this bit now, is to, as we're going down, is shake the bloom, or you can just hold it and do a shock twist. And make it as big or as small as you want to. I'm going to have him down a little bit. There we go. And then, once I know the position I want this on, I just put a twist in there. Again, quite a few. A really soft bubble here. About 3 inches, I would have said. So I didn't see the sizes earlier on. And then just pinch this in together. Like so. And and use the plume that you've got here to tie it in. That's good. Now, you've got a lovely character here. He's got a really long tail. If you do want to do anything with that, you can, if you want too long, you can just shorten it, but it has a bit more to the character itself. Let's come over here, you can see it then. There you go. Okay. So that's one character. Here's the other one I was talking about. There's the green on. I've done the green eyes. You can keep it simple, black eyes if you want. And you can do this with a lot of the things I'm showing you. On this one, what I've done here, I've just done 2 loop twists and tied them together there, make sure they're nice and soft as well, and it creates quite a good character. I'll come back this way so we can see him. There we go. Okay, and then I'll come up with another one. This time what we've got on here is I've used an apple twist in a 5-inch, push it through the center, and then put a 160 around it and change the color to give it even more character. So he's a bit of a dodgy character, this one. Now, an apple twist, I think you all know how to do it, but I'll just show you quickly. Now, what I tend to do is inflate it so it goes almost to the popping. Let it down, and then see if you can squeeze your hands together. Now this is a pearl, and I tie the knot on the very end. So there we go, tie the knot on the very end there. Now you want to create an attachment, so you put a strap on here, like so. These can be used for so many different things. I love doing apple twists. Put your palm of your hand here, squeeze it forward, finger on, push in very, very slowly, grab it with your finger and thumb like so. Then there's the dot, push on there. Or if you wanted to change the angle of it, you can go lower down. Otherwise, push it in there, grab it with your thumb and forefinger, pull and twist, and then you grab this and tie it around it. There we are. And then you've got yourself an apple twist. Do the same with the other piece. And then you can push it either side and then just put the loop around there. I always like to do each character slightly different every time so that people are having something different. And this one here is what I've created to go on the design over there. I've done exactly the same as the one I just demonstrated, but I just used the white edding to give it a bit more character, as you can see that on there. And I think it just adds a bit more depth to the design itself. So we've got 2 parts to the design. I'm going to stick a bit of balloon on here, ready to stick it in place. And you can see what it looks like. So that's that one. Using that design, I've also made a cute bee. This cute bee here is used with exactly the same head. Alright, and the only thing is I've just blown up a 3-2-1 and I've just coloured it. And the upper body is just, I'll show you how I've done that one. I always give these a little bit of a stretch before I start. And then pull, well, if you want to shape that, I'll show you that one in a minute. And I give it 1-2 pumps, like so. And then tie it there. With a bit of a squeeze, and a bend, like so. And then if I want to create some pinch points on the top, It's like I did with, whoops, hang on. I put a hole in that, so all I've got to do is tie that around there. Oh, put a hole right through it. But this is another character, nice and cute. And I didn't have many 260 diamond clear, only had 2, so I didn't want to waste them, and I used a 350 that I had there as well. So you can create different characters. These are buzzing bees, and the head is exactly the same. And that's one without the eyes, you can see. And on this one, I've added a little bubble on there. So you can see that it adds a little bit more to the character. And all you do is just squeeze a little bit out, create a little bubble in there. Like so. As you push down, there you go. And then you can as you go down further, you can tie, and then you can manipulate that, and then he's got a bit of an eyebrow or a bit of depth to his character. Using the other thing I was going to show you is this hungry caterpillar here. This is using, Sue came up with this idea, connect to Bola, connecting these together on end to end and making a caterpillar. Now, the head I showed you just now, you can use on this one, and it makes it really cute. Yeah. So you can either have an in-depth character, like so, on the end, or you can have a fun one like this. This one's relatively easy to do. I've just tied that to the attachment, made 3 bubbles, and then made a very thin lunar of a 160, wrapped it round, and then put a raisin twist into the 5-inch, and then these are done with 350 Qs in exactly the same way, and then just basically push some air in it, push it down, push some air in it, push it down. Oops. And then just tie a knot in it. And there you have your funny antenna to go on the end of this one here. Okay. This is the piece I was on about just now with a 3-2-1. I'll show you how to get that bit. Excuse me a second, guys. There we are. Now I've got an undipped version of the 3-2-1 or the B-body. Here we go. And what I've done here, I pulled it all the way down. And then it goes into a nice thing. If you get an orange one, you can make a carrot. You've got claws there for giant dinosaurs. You've got a beak there as well for a toucan or a fun bird. You can change the beak onto that. It would be quite funky actually. And then the bit I didn't get to do is when you tie this, you don't pull too hard. You can actually add another bubble on the end there. And split that in half. And push it round. There we go. And there you can attach your little head. Where did we have that? There he is. Okay. So that's using that style head. So you can use 260s, 160s, and you can thin them down. I was going to show you how to thin a 160. It's exactly the same way as the 260. Create some pressure, force it down, pull it up, and what I've done is got under my foot, and don't have too much pressure, otherwise it'll just pop. And there we go, we got an even thinner balloon now. There's our 160, and it's gone even thinner, okay? Let's move that out the way a minute. Right, creating designs, you need to think about the size of the design, where it's going to, if it's for a shopping mall or if it's for a shop window. The display I'm doing here now could be for a shop window, it could be for a delivery, a birthday party, a theme party. You've got the Hungry Caterpillar that you can do. You know, it's ideal sort of design for that. It can go on a buffet table, it can go as an entrance piece. Endless ideas for this one. Now, while we're close to this now, I'm going to put this down on the floor and I'm just going to attach the couple of bits and then I'll show you some of the characters. But where's our birdie? There it is. Now, I don't know if you can see here, within the design we've got a lot of blue, we've got red, we've got the brown, we've got the orange, and what I'm going to do is stick this little birdie on the end here, or I could do something else, because we've got red at the bottom, and if you can see the red there, and we've got red on this side, we've got these, so I want to balance it, so by putting something else on this side, would create something better. So what I could do is I could put a little ladybug on the end here. There we are, and stick him on. Usually I use a solid attachment, but I haven't got any Bloom Bond with me. The only thing I had was some click stretchy tape, two-sided stretchy tape here. And that's good. It will stick it, but if I'm doing this normally, I would stick a piece on either side, but I've only got a little bit with me, so a little bit left of the roll, because obviously with everything that's going on at the moment. So I've stuck him on there. Now I'm going to stick the bird on the bottom onto the here. So I'm creating some of the blue into the design as well. I can use a 160, so I put a tiny piece of line on there earlier on, just to save me a bit of time while we were going through everything. And there we got, that's looking nice. I hope you can see that properly. That's looking nice already. Now, where's it gone? Oh, we got some flowers here. I did have some orange ones. Where are they gone? Oh, there they are. Sorry, I'm hiding in the background yet. Because again, within the design itself, we've got the colours, so I'm looking at the proportion and the scale, so we've got little flowers to go in with it. And that adds, we've got the colour on that side as well, the orange, so it's balancing it out. I've got my little attachment in here, so I'll tuck that in. And that can go in there. So what I wanted to do, I'm going to change these flowers for another one. And I'm going to introduce the chrome into this. I want to do that with the chrome, and then just tuck them in there for the moment. There we go. I'm going to use this 160 to help hold this in place on the top here. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but on the flower, I put a little flower on the bottom to help hold them in position. Otherwise, you just use two 160s. it depends on the cost, because every element I'm adding to this is adding more perceived value, more of your technical skill. So this should all be added into the design. What I get upset with is a lot of people make stuff like this and they forget that they're creating, they're designing stuff for people, and they don't put the cost of their designing into it and their actual time. So you need to be thinking about these things. You know, you need to add up everything. Now, for me, this won't take too long to make in the normal circumstances. The flowers are just a few minutes, and the watch chandelier. I'm going to pop that. There we are. So now the whole design can be. I wanted to bring the chrome in here as well because it has a bit more depth. We got lilac here and we got the mauve there, so it does work. All right. There's a reason why I've done that. I'll show you shortly. So that design's coming together lovely. Now, I'm going to show you how to make these in a minute. And now there's another little design here. If we do get enough time, I'll show you how to do that. And that's the little ladybird in flight, which I could stick up onto there if it was a ladybird party. I've had them before now. We've had frog parties as well. I'll show you this one. This is a little frog. I'm just conscious of the time because the boys want to catch up. So I'll talk through some of the bits and pieces because we're coming close to the time. I've got 5 minutes. So with this design here, it's a small design, but it's a bit of fun. And if you add a little bit more to it, you can see it's being a bit more creative and it's more fun. All these things I use in designs. I've used them for years. They're tried and tested, and people buy them. And it's what when they come in the shop is, oh, look at that, and especially the children and the parents. When the adults do it, it makes me buzz because the other day about we're all children at heart, and it's quite true. And going back, I'm jumping back and forth because I'm thinking of things because I was thrown off my balance. In pricing and stuff like that. Now here I just used 2 11-inch balloons and I twisted them in half and made a little base. And I'm going to put this on top of here just to show you, like using these. Now this could be an ideal gift for Mother's Day. It could be for Easter, a small Easter display. You could have several of these put into a shop window. You know, we could add some precision bubbles to it to help bring the flowers in. But it's nice to have the flowers pushing out, like so. How are we doing, boys? We okay a minute? Okay, then I'll try and catch it now. I'll just show a couple of things that I've done. And by doing this, and then we could add the little bug on there. Okay. Now this little bug here, this orange bug, is exactly the same head as I've done for the ladybird. Sorry, the ladybird, the bee, and the snail. And the only difference is I didn't put a loop underneath. I just put a small bubble, another small bubble, and just pushed it through the nose there. And I got a little attachment to add that into that design. Normally I would use a colour. So again, when you're pricing your design, please take into account the time that you put into it, all the time you spend going to conventions, not this one obviously, but and also the time it takes you to practice and get your skills. You know, you want to buy that Ferrari, you need to pay for it. Anyway, there's a little design there, a little cutie design. I hope you like that. Just quickly here, I'll just show them these and I'll finish up them, boys, for you. Now this is a little hornet that I came up with. All I've done here is exactly the same head again, just change the the nose has gone down, unfortunately. And I've used a 3-2-1, stretched it like I showed you, and then that other piece, I tied a bubble there, and then with the 160 tied it together, and just done 2 loop twists on the top, and then made the half-inch 60s. Okay. I was hoping to show you this one here as well. This is the grasshopper, but obviously it's only fair that the others have time to catch up as well. I had 2 grasshoppers. I'm going to show you this cutie one here, this quick one with the big eyes. And I've got, this is just to show you the 3-2-1. I was going to turn him into, and I've just used the dots. You can see the difference it makes to the character itself. You know, it adds so much depth to it. And then the chrome creates such a lovely finish to the design using chrome. Now we're going to stick this one up here. Hopefully that'll stick on there now. I'll show you the finished design. Get some of that stretchy tape. On this side. Either of these two would work on here. I think I'll stick this one on. I know I haven't got the eyes on there. And I'll attach that as well. And then on the bottom, I'm going to stick the snail. Where's he gone? Here he is. Right, you can see the end result then. I'll just put this on so you can see the end result. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. There is a fair bit on there at the minute. I wanted to show you all the bits. So you can go from a couple of items, or you can make it into a real creative and fun-loving design. And you could put some flowers on the back as well. You know, you could put a ladybug on the back. It's endless what you could do with this one design on its own. So that's that, I think. There we are, guys. Well, the guys want to draw it to an end now, I think.
Hello, Dr. Bob.
Hello, Dr. Bob.
Hi.
You never fail to amaze me.
Why is that?
Well, you've got internet in
Come
Wales.
on.
That's one. And number two, you do in an hour what some people do in a week.
We've just called it the Power Hour from Dr. Bob. I expect that chat to go absolutely crazy with gold nugget hearts, guys. Absolutely crazy.
You're going to have to watch that back at about 1/4 speed to catch what he did.
And I think as well as that,
Was I
guys,
going too fast?
No, you just did so much.
you just did so much.
It was awesome.
So much. Guys, just as another thought as well is, who would like to see, you know, the grasshopper and the butterfly and things, the things that you got to see the creations, but you didn't get to see the techniques. How about we ask Dr. Bob at some point to come on a normal Q Corner show and share some bits and pieces then?
Let's ask now why he's on live and he can't say no. Put your thumbs
It
up.
would be my pleasure, mate. It would be my pleasure.
It would be our honour.
Right, that's it.
You are-
It's a done deal because we want to see them.
Absolutely.
Because we just got a glimpse.
And
then they hopped it.
and guys, okay, we're going to have to slow down the chat there because Bob, you might break the internet here with the amount of emojis. That's just gone. It's gone crazy. It's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hashtag hop it.
Right. Yeah, all right. There. Before I go, I
Just
just
one
want to
more.
say to you guys and everyone up there and all the teachers, they've done a fantastic job let's
certainly have.
give a bit of love to these two boys here and all the team in Pioneer. And thank you. It's been an honour. And I wanted to say, Ness would say, oh,
Just
it's been interesting.
Love your work, Bob.
Okay, everybody say bye-bye to
Okay.
Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers then, guys. Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye.
That was
Dr. Bob, the
fantastic.
legend. Yeah, he is a legend.
Never fails with a smile.
yeah.
Smile on my face.
For those that have never seen his work before as well, now you understand why he means so much to us. He really is a legend and a real jewel of the industry.